Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy again. Don't Talk Sports. We back. As I said yesterday, it's gonna be Week 14 NFL preview. I know he's got the drip for y'all. So today we got the John Daly smoking a cigarette, backswing, chicks dig the long ball shirt. You know how we do. But anyways, let's get right back to it. This is Still Talk Sports, Week 14 of the NFL season preview and breakdown analysis. So Week 14 kicks off this week with Packers and Lions on Thursday night. Um, we see Detroit's favored by 3. Detroit is saying at 11-1, and Packers are 9-3. Um, this game's a tough one. Another divisional game could be a toss-up. I'm gonna go with the Green Bay Packers, and let me tell you why. Detroit's due to lose another game, and all of this due, everything's due, everyone's due. Okay, I get it, I understand that, but Detroit's due to lose this game. It's a divisional opponent. Green Bay's been playing really well. But I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and it could be a shootout down the end. But we're going to go with the Pack this game. I see Detroit's home. I love Detroit. Dan Campbell, everything he's doing. Jared Goff's playing well. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jameson Williams, David Montgomery, all them boys. But I just got a feeling in my head that it's going to go to Green Bay's way. I could be wrong. This is a tough one to pick just because it's two really, really good teams. But we're going to go with Green Bay. Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur, them boys, they seem like they got a real rhythm going on right now in their head. Detroit almost lost to the Bears last week, and you can say Pack almost lost to the Bears, but the Bears aren't as bad of a team as I think. So we're going to go with Green Bay this week just based on that fact. I think they're due. Jordan Love's playing good. I think Jordan Love's going to go for about 275 and 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns. So we'll see what happens there, but I'm going to go with Green Bay this week. First game. Next game we got is, and this is just my order because I got the Bills and the Bears as my favorite teams, so that's why the Bills and Bears come out so often. But next game we got is Bills and Rams. Buffalo is only favored by 5. On the road, long flight to LA from Buffalo. I think it's like a 6-hour flight. So I get it. Only favored by 5, but I think this is an easy pick. We're going with the Bills, man. I'm the Josh Allen guy. I'm always been Josh Allen's best quarterback in the league, which he is and has been for the last 2-3 years. Don't care what anyone says. He has been the best quarterback in the league for 2-3 years. I'm going to start a franchise. I'm taking Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes. Come at me. So, Buffalo 10-2 this year. 2 tough losses at the beginning of the year. I mean, they just weren't the same team they are now. Matt Milano coming back is a big pickup for that team. Bernard really developed since the time Milano's been out. So now you got Bernard and Milano in there. That's a great defense right there. It's a great linebacker and core. You got great corners playing great right now. I mean, Rasul Douglas, probably one of the most slept on picks of the trade deadline last year. Great corner, has always been a great corner. Christian Benford, kind of coming into his own. The new safeties, everyone's playing really well. Von Miller gets his steps up when he needs to. Greg Rousseau developed into a straight baller. Epinesa is good, at Oliver. We got all these boys on defense, and that's just the defense I've been talking about. Josh Allen as a quarterback. I mean, that's what you need. Josh Allen, James Cook, Ray Davis, all them boys are making it happen. So, Josh Allen this year, 230 for 356, 2,691 yards, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's only passing touchdowns, but I just like Buffalo in this game. Rams have been playing pretty good. Stafford and them boys. McVay, really well coached team. But the Rams just aren't the same Rams of a few years ago. Aaron Donald retiring is a tough loss for that team. He's Aaron Donald. So, Buffalo, I don't really think it's a question. They're better offensively, better defensively, which usually accounts to a win. It's a long trip. That's the only thing I'm worried about. But if Buffalo wants to win the Super Bowl, they're going to have to win this game straight up because this proves that they can go far away on the road and win games. It's a dome team. So Josh Allen's going to be slinging that thing around, especially after last week playing in the snow. He wasn't able to sling it around, but we're going Bills. Next game we got is Bears and Niners. Again, San Fran's favored by 4.5, but this is going to be my underdog of the week pick. We're going with the Bears again. I go with the Bears every week. I've almost been right every week with the damn Bears, man. But this is a week I think they do it. Every team that fires their head coach, they get that interim coach bump. I mean, look at the Saints this year. They won a few games when their coach got fired. So I think the Bears are going to have that. They're on that trajectory anyway. The Bears aren't that bad of a team. I've been saying that. Eberflus was an atrocious coach, atrocious in situational football. Don't know why. He's a great defensive coach. The defense was great, but he just wasn't there for that. But The reason I'm going with the Bears too, 49ers are down Christian McCaffrey and Jordan Mason. They just haven't been the same team this year. Injuries have really killed that team and their chemistry. Nick Bosa's out, etc. A bunch of players there. Ayuk's out. Debo hasn't been the same player. Purdy's looking like he's kind of coming down to earth, which Purdy's a good quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I think you could win with Purdy. I don't think you win because of Purdy. But that's not to say he's not a good quarterback. He is a good quarterback. But, the Bears just have showed me more this year. I mean, they're 4-8. They have a worse record, but their defense is really, really good. Their defense has continuously been really, really good. They got great corners everywhere. They got great linebackers. They got great secondary and D-line. So Caleb's starting to find his rhythm with Thomas Brown. The last couple games with Thomas Brown, I think he's throwing for 300 yards each game. I think he continues that this week, especially with the 49ers being just absolutely killed by injuries. So with the injuries and with the interim bump that the Bears are going to get, I'm going to go with the Bears. Again, San Fran's favored by 4.5, but we're going to go with Chicago this week. On the road, which is going to be a little tougher, but we're going to go with the road team. So far I've gone with all road teams. So let's see if we can turn that around and go with a home team this week. Giants and Saints. Wow. I don't know if I can go with a home team. Man, that's a tough one. I think that's another toss-up game. I haven't watched enough of either team to really give you a definitive answer, but I know Carl Granderson on the Saints. We played together at Wyoming. He was a really good mentor to me, so we're going to go with the Saints. Derek Carr and them boys probably going to get the win. The defense is a little bit better on the Saints, but the Giants are just bad, man. I think the Giants are kind of done with their year. They kind of want to just get to next year and see what they can do there, but that's a tough game, man. I don't really have a lot of analysis on that because, again, I haven't watched either team too much. I know the Saints, Taysom Hill will have a good game every 3 or 4 games. He'll be like the best player in the NFL. But the Giants are just the Giants. I mean, Neighbors is good. Neighbors has proven to be a great pick, so kudos on that pick. But as I've said many, many times, Danny Dimes was never the problem. No matter what people think, he was never the problem. That organization is just poorly run, and they have a dumpster fire. And Dayball, I used to love Dayball. I think he really helped Josh Allen's development, but I don't know. His head coaching isn't really there for me. He's not really showing me what he can do. So we'll see what happens with that game. But we're going to go Saints, the cover of 4.5 in that game. Next game we got is Browns and Steelers. Pittsburgh's favored by 6.5. Again, another divisional game. I picked the Steelers last time they played the Browns. I didn't know it'd be snowing and be a snow game, and they would be slipping and sliding around. But I think this one's a little different. Steelers are at home. Steelers coming off a big win. Browns coming off a tough loss. Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback of that team. He is a starting quarterback in the NFL. If they go back to Deshaun, that's up to them. But Jameis Winston is the better player and the better quarterback, and his team likes him a lot more. Just look at their attitude around everything. Yeah, they lost, but you can tell they have a different energy about them when Jameis Winston plays. I've always said Jameis Winston is a starting quarterback in the NFL. He does make some really silly mistakes, but he's a really, really good personable energy guy that you want on your team and that slings the football around. So, but Pittsburgh favored by 6.5. I don't know if I'm going to go with them to cover, but I'm going to go Steelers money line on that. Again, not betting advice, anything, but just I'm going with the Steelers. Russell Wilson's playing really good. TJ Watt, them boys, the defense is unbelievable as always. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season since he's been the coach of the Steelers. He's got great leadership, and the guys really love him and rally around him. So we're going to go Steelers in that game. There's your first home team pick, by the way. We go with the Steelers. So next game we got is the Vikings and the Falcons. Vikings are favored by 5.5 at home. Falcons, man, that could be a questionable game, but the Vikings just seem like they found a way to win every single week. Kevin O'Connell's a great, great coach. Sam Darnold looks like a top 15 quarterback in the NFL because of his coaching. And Sam Darnold was never that bad. It's just the Jets organization, as we've seen with Aaron Rodgers, as we've seen with Zach Wilson, as we've seen with all these quarterbacks, Sam Darnold. So Vikings 10-2, Falcons 6-6. I like the Vikings in this game. I like the NFC North a lot this year. I think the NFC North is one of the better divisions in football. Vikings are a good team, man. Aaron Jones. Jay Jettas. You can't sleep on Jay Jettas. He's the best. Sam Darnold. Brian Flores got that defense playing really, really well. People can sleep on Brian Flores all they want. He's a great coach. Always has been a great coach. He got that defense playing exceptionally well. Jordan Addison, them boys. So we're going Vikings in that game. 5.5. We'll go with the Vikings to cover. Again, not completely sure, but we're going to go with Vikings to win that game. Another home team. picked. You guys should be proud of me. Let's go. Next game we got is the Raiders and Buccaneers. Okay. Um, Raiders and Buccaneers. Okay, so pretty easy game. Raiders are the Raiders. Buccaneers are the Buccaneers. Buccaneers have been pretty injury ridden this year, which is tough. But especially with Godwin going out, he's still the leading receiver on the Buccaneers, and he hasn't played in like 4 or 5 games. That just proves what a good year he was having. But the best thing about the Raiders is their pick last year, Brock Bowers and Crosby. Brock Bowers has proven to be one of those game-changing tight ends that you rarely find. He has 84 receptions for 884 yards and 4 touchdowns this year. That's exceptional. He's playing really, really well. But the Raiders are just the Raiders. I've gone on record saying they shouldn't have fired John Gruden. They never should have fired John Gruden. John Gruden's an amazing coach. That's the NFL's doing. That was a witch hunt, whatever. Not want to speak on that, so they can do whatever they want. But I think it's a pretty easy game. We're going to go Buccaneers in this game. Baker Mayfield and them boys are just a better team than the Raiders. Buccaneers are at home. Buccaneers have a better defense. Buccaneers are just a better overall team. Mike Evans is back, so that helps a lot. And I like Baker a lot more than I like Aiden O'Connell or Gardner, even though Gardner's on injury reserve. So don't know what happened there, but hope he's all right. But yeah, that's not even a question. Buccaneers got to win that game to keep holding that division, especially if the Falcons lose. So be leading that division. So we're gonna go with the Buccaneers. Win that game pretty handily. What are they favored by? 6.5. We're gonna go pretty easily in that. Next game we got is the Panthers and the Eagles. I don't really think this is a question. I don't think it's a trap game by any means. This is going to be the Eagles game. They're favored by 12.5, which I feel like is a lot. I don't know about 12.5, but we're going to go with the Eagles to win the game. It seems like he's getting back to where he was a few years ago, because last year he kind of had a little down slump, but having Saquon Barkley's really helped that. I mean, Saquon Barkley's balling out. A.J. Brown, another pick. Whoever Holly Roseman, the GM. Shout out Holly Roseman. You're a good GM. He got you A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley. I mean, that's two game-changing players, two of the top 5 players in the NFL. Saquon Barkley this year showing everyone why he was such a high pick in the draft. I mean, again, he was great on the Giants, but he wasn't as great as he is this year. So that just proves sort of how incompetent the Giants are. Sorry, Giants. You're catching a lot of strays. Sorry, Jake Moore. You're also catching a lot of strays because you're a Giants guy, but it's the truth, man. But Saquon Barkley, if Josh Allen wasn't having such a great year, would probably be the MVP. But we're going to go Eagles in that game. Jalen Hurts and them boys got playing really well. The defense is playing much better this year. I really like the Eagles in the NFC. I think the Lions are still better, but I think that'd be a really good game if it came down to it. Especially if Lions are home, it'll be easier for them because it's in the Dome. So we're going to go Eagles in that game. Not really a question. I think it's pretty straightforward. Next game we got is Jags and Titans. Tennessee's favored by 4. Jaguars 2-10. And Titans 3-9. I don't think the Jaguars are as bad as people think they are. They've lost I think 6 or 7 one-score games. So you say half of those go that way. They're 500. Doug Peterson's not that bad of a coach. They're just the Jaguars, man. It's just like you see a lot of these franchises that are continuously bad. There's a reason they're continuously bad, and it starts from the top down. But I don't think the Jaguars are that bad. The Titans are in a rebuild year. They got a really, really good defense, and especially defensive line. Jonathan Simmons, I think is his name, and them boys are really, really good on that line. So that defense is something to work with going forward in the year, but not sold on Will Levis. I think Will Levis needs to develop a little bit more. I'd give him maybe one more year because I don't think there's really any game-changing quarterbacks in the draft. Maybe Shedeur Sanders, some might say, but we'll see what happens with him. But I really like Arch and them, but I don't think the Titans are going to get Shedeur, to say the least. So maybe give Will Levis one more year, see what he can do with another year of development with this new coach, this offensive-minded coach. But we're going to go Tennessee in that game. That's one of my least confident picks, just because I think go either way, 2 bad teams. And the Jaguars aren't that bad. They should have a good amount of wins this year, but just can't get it done when it matters. So we're going to go Tennessee. Hopefully Will Levis looks better, but Mac Jones maybe show some things. I don't know. I think Trevor Lawrence probably isn't playing. So we're going to go with Tennessee. Next game we got is the Jets and the Dolphins. Miami's favored by 6 at home. I like the Dolphins. Ever since the concussion, Tua seems like he's on a mission to be like, nah, you don't tell me not to play. I'm Tua Tagovailoa. I'm pretty good at this. But the Dolphins, I mean, at home, I like the Dolphins. It's hot when they got that nice Miami Heat shining on them. They look like a much better team. But when they play in cold weather, I mean, they got their coach shivering and stuff. Like, first of all, he can't be shivering. He's a leader of men on the sideline. He can't be shivering. But anyways, at home they're a completely different team, and that's the problem with Miami. I think every year, especially this new age Miami team. The old age Miami team, they go anywhere and win. But this, they're all soft and cold. Like, oh no, whatever. It's football. Let's get it right. The football weather is what happened last week in Buffalo. That's football weather. But anyways, Dolphins. I like Tua Tagovailoa. I like Tyreek. Tyreek's having a pretty big down year. I think I saw a stat a couple days ago that he has the biggest drop off from receiving yards from last year to this year, which would be an NFL record. Not sure what's going on with him. I just think the Dolphins might not be as good, and people are starting to be like, all right, let's just not let Tyreek Hill dominate us, which is a fair compromise. I mean, if you don't let him dominate you, probably don't win you probably don't lose as many games to that team. And then the Jets. I mean, what can I say about the Jets? Aaron Rodgers. I had high hopes for you, brother. I always think you're a GOAT, Aaron Rodgers. You've always been a great quarterback. You always will be a great quarterback. You probably are the most talented quarterback I've ever seen, talent-wise. Not greatest, talent-wise, you're the best quarterback. I mean, you got Devontae Adams, you got Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall. The defense isn't that bad. Ever since Salah left, the defense has been worse, though. So, I don't know. I think the Jets are just done. I think they've kind of given up 3-9. I mean, they could get another sneaky win, but I don't think it's going to happen. I like the Dolphins in this game. I like how they're playing. Mike McDaniel, again, is a great offensive coach still, and he's at home. He's got the sunshine. They better win this game, especially if they want a chance. I mean, they still got a chance with 5-7, so we'll see what happens. Next game we got is the Seahawks and Cardinals. This was a game I went the opposite way of last time. I went the Seahawks. No, I went the Cardinals when the Cardinals were on the road at the Seahawks. But this one's Cardinals Seahawks at home. Cardinals at home. Arizona's favored at 2.5. This might come back to bite me again, but I'm doubling down. I'm staying with the Cardinals at home this time. They should have won last week. Had a few mistakes that they just can't have, that winning teams don't have. But if the Cardinals win this game, they're leading that division. So I think they're going to play really, really hard. Kyler Murray's been playing very good this year. Marvin Harrison's developing. You can see the flashes that people love about him. Trey McBride, though, stand up, Colorado State, go Rams, bro. Always a good kid to me, but we're gonna go Cardinals. I think they're gonna win this game. I like what Jonathan Gannon's doing down there. I think he's a really, really good coach, and he's building a culture, which I think, I hate to bring up the Bills, but I think that's the best thing about the Bills is they have a culture. Sean McDermott, everyone is themselves, which is the best thing about that team, and that allows them to thrive and be who they want to be. But Cardinals in this game, 2.5. I like them. Their defense is pretty decent. Buda Baker's having a career year. Seahawks, I don't have anything against the Seahawks. My best friend's a Seahawks fan, but I just think the Cardinals are going to win this game. K9's having kind of a down year. DK, Gino, I don't hear enough about him. Maybe I don't watch the games enough to have an opinion on him and know enough about him, but I just haven't heard much about him this year. So we're going to go Cardinals in that game. Next game we got is Sunday night game. Actually, a decent game this Sunday night. So it's going to be Chargers and Chiefs. Chargers. So Chargers favored by 3.5. Chiefs favored. We're going to go Chargers in this game. I like Justin Herbert. I like Jim Harbaugh. I like what the Chargers are doing this year. They got the best defense in the NFL. Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. And the Chiefs just cannot keep getting away with this, man. They can't keep getting away with it. They get away with it every week. And I'm getting real sick and tired of it. So we're going to go with the Chargers. They're going to win this week. And the Chiefs are going to fall to 11-2. And the Bills are going to get the first seed and we're going to win the Super Bowl. So let's do it. But Chargers, I just like how Herbert's playing. I like Harbaugh a lot. I like how the defense is playing. I like their culture. I mean, the Chiefs, people might say, oh, they're getting lucky. Last week was an exception. I didn't like that way. But good teams find a way to win, and they've been winning like that. So, but I just think the Chargers are going to win. Divisional game, they got a lot to play for. I think they're gonna fight for this one. And then the last game we got is the Monday night game. It's Cowboys and Bengals. Cincinnati's favored by 5. I like that. I'm going to go Cincy. I think that offense is amazing, especially against the Cowboys defense that has been absolutely horrible. Jamar might go for 300 and Joe Burrow might go for 400. So we're going to go with the Bengals. They're having a really bad year, unfortunately, 4-8. But Joe Burrow and Jamar are having career years. Dallas is Dallas. I mean, if Jerry Jones keeps Mike McCarthy, more power to him. I think that's a wrong decision. But Cowboys this year, I don't know what really happened. Their defense kind of just tanked and stuff. Maybe that proves how good of a coach Dan Quinn is to make that defense not look as bad as it actually was. But the Bengals are just a better team, I think. And Cowboys, yes, are playing for a playoff spot, but I just like the Bengals. I like Joe Burrow more. I like Jamar Chase more. I like their coach more. I like everything about the Bengals more. So hopefully the Bengals get a win. But those are my Week 14 NFL picks and breakdown and analysis. We'll be back when Week 14 is over with a review and see how my picks did. But I really appreciate everyone joining along. This is Dill Talk Sports, and I'm Dylan, and I'm peacing out. I appreciate y'all, and God bless.